And then it puts me back on there again. Oh, man, I was going in on that subject, only for me to not be on there. So anyone, if you come to this live stream, I was going live on the wrong live stream. So I'm just going to just edit some stuff, because clearly I messed up there. I had no idea. I was just like living life to the fullest, honestly. Well, mistakes were made, and here we are. Yikes. That's quite embarrassing, I will say. Girl, how did y'all let me talk it out like that? The struggle. I also was like, wow, there's like 16 people in this live. Like, I don't get it. And then only to find out that I pretty much set myself up. But such is life. I apologize immensely for that. Like, I feel really bad that I was just like chatting it up for dear life on a live stream that just wasn't it. It just was not it. Damn. Oh man, I feel so guilty. I'm like trying to resend out like a link now. So that's what you see me doing. So I apologize. It's gonna just take a minute here. Like, I was really going for it. I had a lot to say about Walter Lee. I'm just gonna say, the guy frustrated me. Okay, so wow, having a full discussion. That's crazy. I guess it really be like that. Me talking and then realize I was in the wrong darn gone live. I don't even know how it happened. Exactly. See? Thank you all for being so nice and patient with me. I'm just trying to fix some stuff right now. Wait, hold on. What is this? Oh, I just confused the crap out of myself. So I'm just like trying to fix this just in case other people come and they're like, so what's going on? That's crazy how that happened. But, it needed to happen. And then, and that's that on that. That's crazy. I'm going to call it, I don't know, part 1. Yeah. I'm like trying to a raisin. But while we're waiting for me to like finish this stuff, since I messed up, did anyone understand like my connection, or agreed or disagree with my connection of like the entitlement and how I described it? Because if you like didn't, I'm definitely want to hear the ways in which you differ or the ways in which you agree. It's just Walter Lee entitlement throughout reading the book made it really hard for me to empathize and sympathize with him, especially when he lost all the money. And it's just like, and it was, I don't know, and it was super gendered, the book. I mean, that's one of like, I wouldn't say it's a criticism, because I'm understanding that the book is a it's a reflection of the time in which it was written, because we're not reading books that came out last year or even 10 years ago. So I just kept thinking about those things. Yo, I cannot believe I'm still like, I was hanging out, discussing it, living it. Okay. I think things should be fixed. So I'm going to get out of that. Okay. Thank God for that. Amen. Yeah, call it part one. You don't want to lose that discussion because it was great. Yeah, I was really going in. Walter was frustrating, but at the same time, he really wanted to be the man he thought he should be. Yep. He just didn't know quite what he was aiming for. I think also greed played a big role in that. Like, he was so focused on the money and getting rich, but it's also understandable being a Black man at this time and like poverty. Like, it was like 7 of them living in, was it just a 1-bedroom apartment? Like, it was really close quarters, and like not being able to provide for your family in the way that you want, also having to drive the white man around and seeing the white man riches every day, like, that has to be difficult on the soul and in the way in which you view things, which is lend again to me being very conflicted by his character. I agree with you, didn't think about that as consciously while reading. Yep. Makes sense. Even privilege and audacity. What? Seltzer, this is why we keep you around. Let's all say this together. Even privilege and audacity is intersectional. Let the church say amen, okay? Exactly. That needs to be printed somewhere. Even privilege and audacity is intersectional. I completely agree. Unless you are both a woman and a minority, there is usually a level of entitlement that you have because in some way you're still in the majority in one way or another. In my honest opinion, is IMHO. Am I showing my age? Did you think? Did I think what? Oh, did you think, I'm assuming, Lorraine's portrayal of Walter Lee wasn't a conscious decision? No. I am big on word placements. Like, an author can get me just on the way they string together a sentence, and everything felt very intentional. So I feel like each character was intentional. Especially Walter Lee's little sister, who was like, we can't be ignorant, and the plight of the African American, and reconnecting to their roots, and how she just wanted to be an independent woman. Like, even the choices and the words that she said was very intentional. And the pushback from mom, when mom was like, I'm not ignorant, and mom was like, well, if we're ignorant, go over there. So just like, they're just very real, conscious conversations, I thought, in my opinion. You got to take into account the time period. And maybe Walter didn't think he was entitled because that's just how things were. But I agree with you. It's hard to himself. Yep. And I would take it an even step farther. I've met and interacted, with Black men who feel the way that Walter do today. That's what I was saying, like in the other live, like what ways in which you think Walter, the embodiment of that character, has repeated and consistently appeared in our today life, like in 2021. Have you seen it? Have you experienced it? Kind of thing. This is one of my favorite plays. Not really a play lover. I think was it me and Colby talking about like plays? And yeah. Part one was very short and an accident. So here we are, part two. Da-da-da-da-da. So that's where we're at. And I'll put like part one and part two at the end of the stream. Yeah, it is. I didn't want it to come off like I was stating it as fact. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I thought Bonita was an excellent character. Say more on that. Yes, I agree. The portrayal of Walter Lee was intentional. Yeah, and it was like, and the fact, and I'm trying to say this because I don't want it to seem like I'm not generalizing. This is just things I've seen in my life. Sorry, I had to cut that off. But Walter Lee's decision to not listen to his mother and her wishes of putting money aside for the little sister and him doing what he needed in a bank account and using that money as needed was her wishes. And him deciding to then give the money to a friend who gave it to another person who ended up scamming him was a total disregard of a Black woman to me. It's like, I'm telling you what my needs are. And you just being like, no, I'm a man, I know better. Back to the audacity, back to the entitlement. I just was like, all because you are feeling that your needs and your wants is more important. You were counting your mother's coins before the check even arrived. You were already being like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. This liquor license, blah, blah, blah. Not understanding, as his mom said, what the money represent and where it came from. Like, she lost her husband. Her husband worked every day until his body broke down. And then when he died, they got this money. And you're not even thinking about the emotional and traumatic impact of that money and what it represents on your mother. Then when she tried to do something nice and be like, hey, I'm going to go buy this house, you shame her? You make her feel bad as if she didn't care for you, as if you weren't her priority? You spoke to your mother like that? I wanted to slap him. I said it. I'm a man and I know better. I know a lot of men who are like that. I think that goes back to children in general thinking they know better than their parent and thinking they see things their parent can't. My thing is this. We can learn. Learning does not have to be one directional, right? There are different ways to receive information. There are different ways to give out information. But when you start thinking only about your interests and not your interests of the whole, it just was very selfish and also not really conducive to the Black family and the Black culture. Because correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm only talking about my Black experience, it's a very collective, collaborative, thing, especially in my family. You have to make, even though I am 31 years old, just turned 31 years old, I still call my parents and be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Call my sister, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Call my granny, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Her siblings, my uncles, my cousins. It's like, there needs to be counsel. And this man just did it by himself. And I was like, okay. It's just different ways in which the colonizer mentality shows up. And that's one of them. I'm not sure you talked about this. If so, disregard for a little context. If you don't know, the play is partially born out of Langston's huge poem, Harlem. I did not know that. I don't think I knew that. Did anyone know that? Maybe I did, but right now, do you mean Harlem of what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crush in sugar over like a syrup sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? Langston Hughes. So I did read that, so maybe maybe I was like, whoop, forget it. Okay. Oh, Benita, the dynamic with her being encouraged to date this respectable boyfriend seems important and seems to have modern parallel. Exactly, especially when this respectable boyfriend was like, I was just playing with you. I was just seeing, just playing along to the things that you're saying. But I don't want all of that. I need you to give me this puss, and I need you to give me this marriage and be together and be my all of this. I need you to give, and I'm not giving anything in return. That is how I viewed that whole thing. I mean, with other things, of course, but right, and education doesn't necessarily trump experience, which is why I was here for Benita and her mom when she tried to insinuate that her mother was ignorant and her mother showed her out. I was like, come on, Ma, come through the door. I've seen that so often in Black families, that education in certain areas or intelligence means they know more. Or the assumption, too. I feel that because in my intermediate family, I have the highest education, that people make assumptions of me that floors me. Like, I'm talking about have me on the ground. Like, I'll be like, what? Oh, you think this? The thought never crossed my mind. But a lot of assumptions get poured on me, which causes me to be angry and like all these other things. So I'm like you, Breed. I need a adult to talk about decisions. Yep. I'm always like, who has been living the longest? It's for me. I'm like, who's been living the longest and can shine that light? Because there's some things that I just don't get. Like, I'll call my uncle Jerry. My Uncle Jerry is my granny's eldest brother, and he's like he's going towards 90. And I'd be like, Uncle Jerry, I just don't get, and he still works. He has a construction company and everything. And I just be like, Uncle Jerry, you just got to tell me. I'm confused. Like, I just be needing to understand certain generations of Black men. And there's just things I don't understand and need guidance, and some things I'd be like, oh, it's a product of their time. And my uncles be like, bullshit. So it just really depends. Hold on. Especially big ones. And some people just think they know it all. And that was Walter. Honestly. Yeah, the line from What Happens to a Dream Deferred. Yep. What happens to a dream deferred? Let's go back to that line, shall we? Yeah. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? And we're talking about the family dream. There's so many different dreams we can talk about. What happens when Benita doesn't get the money to go to college? What happens when Walter doesn't get that $6,500 or $10,000 from his mom? What happens where, the mom was like, I'm done having kids, and now she got to bring another one in? What happens when the dreams of your children get turned out and get turned into something else? Walter's mom, it's just like so many things. And like, what was the dream of Walter's father? What did he dream for? I'd give my right arm to be able to call my grandma for advice right now. I feel you. I'm not gonna cry, but I think about that. My granny's getting older, and y'all, that's when y'all will see me like lose my shit. Like I can't imagine. Like I know that like I know I'm from New Orleans and I know we think about, passing and we celebrate it, but y'all, like even the thought, um yeah, y'all, the thought, I can't even think about it. It fucks me up. Like the thought, I can't even what? Sorry for getting emotional, but I try not to think about it, even though I should be. But the thought of it, whoo, I am not and will never be ready. The thought of it, the thought of it. Damn, I just got really emotional. Like, I can't. The thought of that is just like, would fuck me up. And I know that life and things happen, but the thought, bruh, no, I can't handle that at all. Can't handle that at all. Yeah, sorry. I just like broke down a lot. Anyway, back to drinking this sort of truly. I was trying to see if I like this, but can't even remember. Like I don't even know what it is. Yeah. Yep. My thoughts has always been that the American dream is sold to us as Black people as a deferred dream. Yes, like if it doesn't happen in my lifetime, it would happen in my children's, and that's why we accept. Yep. Uh-huh. Things that we shouldn't. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, it's okay. Like I be trying not to and not understand that. I really wish that I wouldn't break down like this. Because I just talked to her today. Like it's in this moment, it's okay. But just the thought, like she's been my rock, my everything. She's been there for me, everything. Everything in the world. Everything in the world. She's everything. And I can't handle that. And I'm trying not to cry. I really am. But the thought will just eat me alive. I don't know if I'll be able to survive it. And I know I will, because she didn't raise me to give up on anything. But y'all, I can't. Like, so I try to protect her and I try to love her and squeeze her and just really like be so blessed that she's here with me. But she's everything. Exactly, right? Exactly. I'm telling you, you said left arm, left tit, left thigh, any body part, honestly. Woo, man. Cause man, I'm still fucked up over my grandpa. I was like, what? And that was just, grief. I was 15 and Katrina happened, and then I talked to my grandpa, and he was like, okay, baby, I'm going to go to sleep, and I'll talk to you tomorrow, and he did not wake up. And, like, that still fucks me up, and that's over 15 years since I've lost him. But, like, whew. And my mom still cries like it happened yesterday. So I'm like, whew. I say all this to say we didn't get the dreams of Walter Lee's father. We didn't get the dreams. What did y'all think about Walter Lee's mom? I don't want to say she was like trying to force his wife to have this kid, but didn't quite understand why she wouldn't want to have this kid. I just didn't understand, and I get it. It's a timepiece, but just why couldn't we just respect her mind? Like, Walter Lee was yelling at her and he was a terrible husband. There, I said it. He was not a good husband. And you already got children and struggling that way. Why would you want to add to that? Add to that stress on your body and on the fetus. You've got me over here all in my emotions because you know my exactly. I over here, y'all. Listen. A hot mess. Yeah, that's why I'd be like, Granny, I will fight these people for you. Because Granny, let me tell y'all this, a small tangent. My Granny was supposed to, I was about to flute her out. Y'all know flute. But I was about to fly her out here so we can live it up for her birthday. I had it planned. We're going to do all type of stuff for her birthday. And then my aunt was like, oh no, we're going to do this and this for her birthday. After everyone knew that I called dibs on Granny. I called dibs. And now Granny is like, oh, can we do it the weekend after? I ain't going to lie. I left my Granny on red because my heart is broken. You going to choose these bow-legged people over me? She's going to get a phone call from me in the morning. She's going to get a phone call from me. How could my Granny, Dorothy, how could you do this to me? When you know we had plans to live our hot girl summer. She's like, I don't know about a two-piece. I said, Granny, let it fly. Let the free flag fly. We're going to be on the beach talking about who this knew me. Okay? Now we have to delay our time. Granny. Not encouraging people to have more children just because. Yep, exactly. I did. I feel really bad. I'm going to text her. I'm going to say, Granny, can I call you in like an hour? And she didn't, and she didn't respond to any of my posts because I was sending her updates on the stuff I was building and my plants. But she did. I just didn't see it. I was about to say, she left me on red? She know I'm needy. She knows that I'm needy. Do I wake my Granny up late at night? Yes, because sometimes I have something on my mind and I want to discuss it. Sometimes it's 2 a.m., and I know that's not right, but I need your guidance. Granny, like, what are you doing? I get that you're trying to sleep and all, but wake it up. I swear that's something grandmas do that I never understand. My grandma used to do the same thing. I think part of it is because they know we're the ones who are always there and not sometime. Exactly. I'd be like, Granny, how you gonna push my schedule behind? And I wasn't even going to take her to the mountains last time because last time she got scared. I was going to be like, Granny, we're going to be in this kayak. We're about to be living. And I was going to do like this whole garden thing with my Granny. And we were going to read together. You know what I'm saying? I was going to give my Granny a little petty, massage petty situation. I already got all the supplies. I was like, Granny, put them dogs in that water. I got you, Granny. She don't got toenails no more because she burned them off. But other than that, not burned them off. She had an infection, had to get rid of them. But still, I was going to be in the meat. I'd do anything for her. Do anything for my double G. Her birthday is July 11th. She's a Cancer, which explains a lot. My Granny has all the feels. She has all the feels and will take almost everything personal. Love her, but I'm the same. I'd be like, it was a personal attack. It was a personal attack. I know what you mean, but I still like the mom and grandma. Thinking of my own grandma's generation, whether the baby would live a good life just wouldn't come to mind, even if we thought more about. Exactly. I kept thinking, like, what would be the life of this kid, being brought into a family where there's no space for the kid. And I felt bad that Benita was like, where the kids go to sleep? And was like, oh, my bad, I'm sorry. But she was on to something. Was she wrong? Probably not the right time to say it at all. I'm definitely here with mom on being like, this was not the time for it. But Benita was not wrong. Who else thought she was wrong? I didn't think she was wrong. My mom was stuck in her ways for sure. She firmly believed that women have babies after they get married and they take care of the household. Not wanting babies just not compute with her. Yep. My granny used to be that way, but I ain't gonna lie. I do be trying to turn my grandma more liberal than conservative that she is. And I'll be like, Granny, you're not getting grandkids from me. And at first it was a personal attack, to her. But I'll be like, Granny, you have 45 grandchildren, 20 great-grandchildren, and 2 great-great-grandchildren. What? You set for life. You don't need my offspring. You got 11 of them. I got to send my grandma on her last real vacation to St. Thomas. Oh, I love traveling with my grandma, Shay. It's like the best thing. It's a blessing I didn't know would mean so much a couple years later. Exactly. You show grandma a great time. It will bless you so much. Exactly. I'm like, Granny. I'm also trying to be like, Granny, you trying to go to what is it, Disney World or Disneyland in Florida? Because she don't live that far from it. And she's always down. And people are like, you travel with Granny, like in my family, they're like, you going with Granny, she can't walk. This is my thing. My granny can't walk that long. That is true. But everywhere we go, I make sure it's wheelchair accessible. Do they have wheelchairs online? I'm looking at the access of these buildings because me and Granny really wanted to go to the aquarium in Atlanta. And listen, me and Granny was room around the whole place. I had my Granny on the wheelchair. We were through that thing, okay? And we did backstage passes to see other stuff in the aquarium. So please, I'm definitely for sure going with my granny. I'm a Cancer. I feel attacked. No, honestly. Yeah, exactly. It's like the idea that a woman might not want to get married. It's not how people used to think about, yeah, even marriage. I'm like, if I had to, but, oof. 45-22. I must have said something, but exactly. I'm talking about grandchildren, great grandchildren. Crazy. Like one of my cousins have 11 children. I said, say what now? Like 11? You were really out here saying, gotta catch 'em all, fetus. What? This man was Pokemon. He got Digiball. He got Pikachu. He got Jigglypuff. He got Salamander. He got all of them. He's just out here Spider-Man and with the fetuses. And the man got a lot going on. Yeah. Also in the book, speaking of not wanting to get married, Bonita, is like, I ain't trying to be tied down. And all these men want to tie her down. And y'all, when she was dating the man, what was he from, Nigeria? Because I think he was Yoruba. I think the Nigerian man, and he was like, oh, you silly girl. If I had a dime for how many times West African men has said that to me when they have imposed like stereotypical ways of like being together, which is like being together for a short time, then getting married and having kids and living life and, you know, fulfilling the role of woman. And I've been like, hell no, we won't go. Like I felt that on a spiritual level. Yeah, both my grandparents came on the trip. Y'all, Grandpa hit the herbal. Hey! Yes! Come through, Grandpa. He did it. He said, I ain't gonna be outdone. Bonita was not wrong. I felt that Ruth was right in wanting to terminate the pregnancy. Especially her thought process. I said, go ahead and live your life. Also, did anyone get this copy or like this the hardcover or the soft copy? What is it? Softback, paperback, Jesus, paperback or audiobook. How did you get your hand on this book? Also, did you read it before? This was my first time. And I think I've already talked about how the classics is my first time reading. So, yeah. I wish I had a relationship with my grandmother the way y'all did. My grandmother was not a nice person. We've talked about this. My father's mother. Baby. She's not one. She's never the one, if you know what I mean. You know, she is not the one to play with at all. Gotta catch them. Oh, no, straight up. Straight up. I stopped at 0. You ain't even try. You said it's gonna be a no for me. Exactly. I have 17 nieces. And now I have 2 great nieces. Yes. And nephews too. 3 brothers. Exactly. 3 brothers. And 1 brother is like 10 of them nieces. I'm like, dang, dude, you doing it. Men just be doing the most. Dropping off their seed. Literally. Yeah, I was curious that you thought about him, Agasai. I wasn't sure just what to make of him. I forgot about the silly girl line though. Yep, it was interesting. He was like, come home with me. I was like, damn, you told her to leave. I also think that Bonita was a little too green. Like, even though she had in a lot of ways, she was not privileged, but in a lot of ways, her family shielded her from stuff. She was shielded. So I don't think she really understood some of the situations she was in, especially when she was alone with the respectable guy. I was really nervous. I don't know about if anyone else was really nervous on the part where he was saying like, you know, like I was just entertaining you saying whatever you wanted to say. I thought he was going to sexually assault her. But, you know, 9 times out of 10, men are dangerous. I said it. So at any point, you know, your consent could be revoked. And not consensually. So, Asagai was another one I could have chopped. Yeah, like he had a very patronizing tone. Did anyone else feel that way? Like his tone was very patronizing. I won't lie, we didn't talk for the first 4 years. I moved out of her house. It took a lot of work to get there. I know she did her best, but she was still abusive AF. Yep. It's the same with my grandma. So my grandma, she's had life, especially with her children. And I saw that after Katrina is when me and my grandmother got close. So around when I was 15. And she had to take care of me because there was nowhere else for me to go at the time. And like she was just not given the love. Like she was not a hugger, not a kisser, none of that. And I was like, oh hell no. Like I was just like 15-year-old me was like, nope, I'm gonna forcefully love you. So my granny had this rule of like, you couldn't sleep in her bed, you couldn't sit on her bed. She was, and in a lot of ways, still a very strict woman. I did not give a fuck. I'm gonna be honest. I did not care. I was in her bed with her at night. Bree, why are you here? Because you my grandma and I need love? Asking me why am I in the bed with you? Granny, you move, I move. Just like that. I used to be like, Granny, I love you. She used to be like, mm-hmm. And I would be in her face. Like, Granny, I love you. And now oh, Bree, I love you. And just all on me. But I was definitely forcing the love. You know, I do. I'd be like, Granny, we got to hit up the strip club. I say all type of reckless stuff to her. And now it does not faze her at all. She laughs, she jokes. That's always trying to make her laugh. But nah, she was not going to repeat that abusive pattern with me. I was not standing for it. I shout out to my younger self who was like, hell no. But I feel what you're saying, Shay, like, to a T. Yeah, I have a great niece and nephew too. I'm like, how my niece got kids? Exactly. How my nephews got children before me. But then my nephew goes, you don't even want kids, T.D. Bree. Fair. You said it. But since we're on the topic of great niece, let me just show you. My granny gonna say, yeah, if I'm awake. I'm waking you up. What do you mean, if I'm awake? Okay, let's take some time. If this is not a little cutie, little chubba roll, look at the rolls. Oh my God. That kid is adorable. I can't take it. Yeah, I dislike Asagai, but I also saw he could be appealing because of how he represented something different and more exciting than her boring boyfriend. Yeah, she got really excited about the thought of him at the end. But I also kept thinking, girl, did anyone ever tell you the grass is not always greener on the other side? Take your time. Don't let somebody else's opinion of you while he was being like, I already know what you are. And a man and a woman can only be one thing, like these very rigid ways of thinking. I'm like, no, don't let Asakai force you to be anything or think anything other than what you're already thinking. Don't get pressured into something, which is why I kept thinking like she was a bit sheltered and a little green. I read it in high school first and reread it every couple years, and I have the edition you have in an old raggedy paperback copy. Yeah, I got the paperback copy. I don't know where it's at. I had 2 copies of it, and the paperback I didn't like it because whoever had it, I got it from thrift books. They were really out here living and thriving. And when I say living and thriving, it's like they wrote everything that is to write in the back of the book. And I was like, okay, cool story, bro. I like how live the chat is. Yeah, I wasn't ever going back. The last time I saw my grandma was when my father came home from work and she had me backed into a corner. He picked me up and yep. You do not have to take abuse from family members. I'll say it again. You do not have to take abuse from family members. I don't care if your niece, your great cousin, your uncle, your sister, your mom, your daddy. You don't have to take that. That's no. Picked up a paperback copy last year, and yeah, Asagai was on some shit. Very arrogant. Yep. Exactly. I kept thinking, very patronizing. Sorry, I'm a little slow on the chat, but I'm coming. But in a way that seems exactly. I was like, he's a con artist. I kept thinking like, oh, it kept giving me like, I don't know if anyone else in the chat is in like the mental health field, but like when you read about someone who like is antisocial, I will say, and just come across like just very charming, but like got levels to the fucked upness underneath. Like it kind of peeks out, but not fully. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm watching too much Criminal Minds. That could be it. Child, Benita claimed to know a lot, but she didn't really know her tail from a hole in the ground. Back to me thinking that she was green. Sorry, I stepped out a while. I wish we got to see how they dealt with their new home. Exactly. Who was going to set that up? How was that going to look? And the fact that the mom was excited about a bath almost had me in tears. Like, all I want to do is soak that thing. Yes. I love a bath. Shout out to my father. He's like, everyone should take a bath. There should be a tub in every house. So no. I also like their neighbor who represented those envious persons that pop up when you're trying to move. Exactly. And the fact that they didn't have some sugar when moms was giving out sugar and was, like the fact that they were like, we ain't got it. I was like, what? So I was just as like annoyed as mom was, Oh. Well, I don't know how any of that just happened. Huh. I like saw it in the camera. Anyway. Yeah, for me, it was showing her that even though I didn't do what she thought I should, I still was the woman she raised me to be. And once she saw me as an adult, it was like our whole relationship changed. Yep. That is the thing, your grandmother seeing you as an adult. Because now I pay a couple of my grandma bills. And not that because she can't. Oh, baby. Dorothy can't. But for me, it just makes sense for me to do it. Like it's more for me, I would say, than it is for her. Because like I said, my granny has done a lot for me. And I will never pay her back. But to me, this is like something that I do. So now that she sees that I'm like a fully adult, I can see that she's like treating me a little different. Yeah, I know, right? Isn't she so cute? Consensus. I have 2 copies, one hardback and one not. The hardback has Ruby D on the cover. Is this Ruby D? No such thing as too much Criminal Minds. Regina Renee coming in. Regina Renee. Yes. Hey, how you doing? Talking about repeating patterns. There are cycles that will repeat, especially if they stay where they are. So let's just take some time and talk about this a little bit in depth. So my dad says things that I just be like, damn, that just like hit the nail. It just hit the nail on the head, right? So sometimes I'll call my dad and vent about stuff. And he'll be like, this was a previous thing. He wouldn't say it like that, but he'll be like, this happened before. And then I'll be like, oh yeah. And he's like, you keep getting it. Like you keep getting the lesson. So what are you not paying attention to the first time you got this lesson? And the lesson keeps coming because you are not learning from the previous lessons. So until you learn, this lesson is going to continue repeating itself. So recently I realized there was like this big lesson that has been repeated with me. And it's like the universe putting up like neon lights blinking. And now I'm like, oh shit. Like I need to, just adjust realize, my truth and my worth and just keep going and figure out another way around it so I don't put myself in situations where, I try to get tested one more again. So I say all this to say, like, cycles will repeat until you break them. And you break them by realizing, is this for me? Is this not for me? Like, just trying to understand the purpose of the cycle and understanding why it's being repeated. I hope that made sense. Right, it's a respect thing. I'll never be able to repay the sacrifices. She never repay the sacrifices. My granny was on it. Katrina happened and she swoop. I mean, I was there for a couple days, but she swiped her grandbaby up fast. Right, it's a respect thing. I'll never be able to repay. Oh, I already read that. Sorry. No, that's Lorraine Hansberry. I thought so. I was like, is this Ruby? Also, Lorraine was a baddie. Let's say it. Sis was living. Gotta go, but we'll watch the rest. No, I think she was in the original movie and play. She was married to, Ozzie Davis, I believe. Okay. Any other thoughts on this play? Did anyone have any thoughts about Walter Lee and his wife, or the man who was like, hey, the welcoming association? I was just rolling my eyes in the back. We are going to watch the play. I put it in the Discord. So if you guys are on the Discord, and we can talk about when we want to watch it. I'm thinking in June. I already said in June. I just don't know when. It's probably going to be a weekday, like 6 or 7 my time, and I'll find a way to get the play of the movie. Try to figure out like where it's at. Oh, you'll check too? Okay. But yeah, any other like characters or themes that I discuss that you want to add in? Sorry, y'all. It's a lot going on. But I'm waiting for y'all to write that. Our next book, July pick, Black No More by George S. Schuler. Let's get into this. I'm excited. This is one of the books out of all the classics that I talked about that I was like, ooh, can't wait to read this. So Black No More. And I want to try to be consistent on doing our live shows the last day of the month. So I do think that I'm free the last July of the month, the last day of July, to talk about this book. So I'll definitely post it like I always do, being like, hey, this is the time, blah, blah, blah. I might do the time a little earlier. Is 7:30 a good time for people? I don't know. But I'm ready to read this. And then I also got this in the mail, which I'm excited about. Zora Neale Hurston, The Complete Stories. I'm excited. I don't know which ones are in here, but I saw this on Thrift Books, and I said, oh, it's going down. So I might add this for next year, because we're just going to be reading. I want to continue reading Black classics and doing like this community discussion. To me, I really enjoy it. But that's what I wanted to say. The Welcome Association was not a welcoming committee. It was a stay the hell out of the neighborhood. Yeah. And I'll be honest, a part of me, when Walter Lee was like, oh no, we're going to have him come over and he's going to give us our money back if they're saying that they're going to do whatever they can so we can't move in. And I was like, scam them, get them. And I feel like, I know that's not good. I know it's not good. But I was like, oh, let them pay. If they want to pay you and, you know, he done made a mistake and gave his money to his boy and his boy gave it to somebody else and then they got scammed that way, I'm like, if they want y'all to move out, that'll be $6,500. There's a Broadway streaming app. I'll see if it's on there. Yes. Because I think, based on my preliminary Google search from way back that I can't remember, there are three movies or plays. There are 3 of them. Yeah, the You People, yep, the You People really pissed me off. That's what I was thinking when someone earlier was like, did you think that his character was like intentional? And I was like, yes. You don't just say you people. You know how we feel about you people. Yes, add Zora. I love Zora. I'm reading my way through Hurston's work. Yeah, I've only read a couple of Zora. So Mules of Men is still my top. I love the stories in Mules of Men. So I have what I might do, hold up. Let me pull out the situation if I have them. Oh yeah, I do. I don't have lots of them, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. So it has an introduction. Let me tell you about it, just in case y'all want to read this too. So you have John reading Goes to the Sea. John reading Goes to the Sea. And then you have Spunk. Then you have Magnolia Flower. Mutsy? I wonder if that's like musty. But it's Mutsy or Musty. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. Erica probably can help in the chat. And then Possum or Pig. That's one. And then the Eatingsville anthology. But it has like The Pledging Woman, Turpine Love, Tippy, The Way of a Man with a Train, Coon Taylor. Okay. Village Fiction, Double Shuffle. Just a bunch of... I love an anthology. I do. I don't know what it is about them, but I will die on that hill of loving them. The Gilded 6 Bits, Mother Catherine, Uncle Monday, and I think Uncle Monday has like 2 stories in it. Like it's like one and then like a little, it appeared to be 2 stories in it. And at least that's what I thought. Cock Robin Bill Street. I didn't even think of that. Bill Street, and it reminds me of James Baldwin, If Bill Street Could Talk, which is another classic we're doing. Then Hi John DeConquer. I'm almost at Hurricane. Ooh. Okay, I guess I'm like not doing these right. Hurricane. And this one is called The Conscience of the Court. And yeah, these are like very short stories. Escape from Pharaoh. Wow, she wrote a lot. I'm like just looking at The Tablets of Law, Black Death. Yes. The bone of contention. Okay. This is also giving me a video idea. I'm like, it's percolating up. Books of Harlem. Oh yeah, it's for sure giving me an idea. Harlem slanguage. That's dope. I mean, why not? Now you cooking with gas. The seventh veil. Like using every sticky note thing I have. This is what I like to do for anthologies anyway. And then the woman in Gaul. Is that how you pronounce it, Erica? Woman in Gaul. And hold on, it's like skipping through. Afterward is Zoranisa Hurston, a Negro way of saying. And then like the bibliography and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so I like to do this when I'm reading anthologies. Because I read them slow. I don't read them all in one sitting. So I like to have like tabs. So that was just done. Yep, the northern white people at the same time lacked all sense of self-awareness, more progressive than white southerners, but not willing to make a big sacrifice for greater change. Yeah, you were right with Musty. Okay. Hurston wrote a lot of plays, I think 33 plays. Yeah, some of them were, the format was in play format. Definitely. So the play is not on Broadway HD, but you can rent the 1961 movie on Amazon Prime. Say less. $3.99? I think you're right. Gold. Yep. Because I think the story in Harlem, or wait, hold on. Yeah, story in Harlem slang. Oh no, that's the glossary. Sorry. I was trying to figure out which one of these is a play. There were some that were in play form. We can definitely discuss that offline too. Anyway, it is now an hour and 2 minutes and $2.99. Whew! Come through with the price. It is now an hour and 2 minutes. Thank y'all for coming as we discussed A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry. Yeah, I will see you at our next book reading, which is Black No More by George S. Schuyler. The books we've been reading have been very small. Now, I'm not saying like we need the big one, but it's just been very small. I'm appreciative of it. I'm appreciative of the audiobooks I've been finding because, physically reading has been hard for me lately. But anyway, thank y'all for coming. I'll see y'all most likely July. Is it July 30th or 31st? Let's make sure we're not saying stuff that is not right. Let me see. It's July 31st. Dang, you think I would know these things, but nope. Oh no, June 30th. Yeah, so June 30th, I should be ready. Yep, that's a Wednesday. So yep, that can happen. Anyway, have a great night and talk to y'all later. Bye.